All right, we are continuing with E1. This is part B. I can create equivalent expressions by distributing. So the first thing we're going to do is a review of our last lesson. We're going to identify all the individual terms and then the like terms in the expression. So I'm going to go ahead and put boxes around all of my k's, including the sign in front. And I'm going to put circles in front of all of my constant terms. So notice I have 4 separate terms, and I'm just going to list those 4 terms. So I have 2k, -8, -5k, and 9. Now in groups of like terms, I'm going to list 2k and -5k, and I'm going to list -8 and 9. Okay, I want you to try this next one on your own. Make sure that you've written down on your paper 2 separate sections, terms and like terms. And then fill in those 2 sections. Start up the video when you're ready to check your answer. All right, so here are my answers. So I have 4 separate terms, -15, 3.2r, -0.9r, and r. For the groups of like terms, I have the 3 r terms together, so 3.2r, -0.9r, and r. And then separate from them is -15. That's the only constant term I have in this expression. Now, we're going to start with the distributive property, and we're going to apply that to expressions. So remember with the distributive property, we notice it if we have a number, so I'm just going to make up a problem here, a number like 3 in front of parentheses with stuff inside, like maybe 2 plus 1, okay? So the distributive property occurs when we have 3 multiplying a whole group of numbers. And what it means is that the terms inside the parenthesis gets multiplied by the number in front. So 2 gets multiplied by 3 and 1 gets multiplied by 3. Well, what we're going to see in these examples is we're going to have distributive property opportunities with x's. So instead of 3 times 2, we would have 3 times 2x. Okay, so when we see opportunities to use the distributive property, we're going to do that as our first step, distributing, and then we're going to combine like terms. Now I'm going to take a moment to explain how we would rewrite this expression without the distributive property. This is telling me that I have 5 times the group d minus 3. So I would rewrite that as d minus 3 plus d minus 3 plus d minus 3 plus d minus 3 plus d minus 3. So notice I've listed that group, d minus 3, a total of 5 times. And then I have that plus 4 at the end. Then I would need to combine all of my d's. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 d's. And then I have -3, -3, -3, -3, -3, and 4. So -3 minus 3 is -6. Minus 3 more is -9. Minus 3 more is -12. Minus 3 more is -15. Plus 4 would be -11. So 5d plus -11 would be my final answer. Now let's look at a quicker way of getting this same result. I can do 5 times d, so I'm starting back here with the original problem. 5 times d gives me 5d. 5 times -3 gives me -15, and then I have that plus 4. I can combine those 2 terms to get -11, and you see that we have the same result. 5d plus negative 11. So using the distributive property is going to help us simplify the expression a whole lot faster with a whole lot less evidence we have to show. Let's try another example. You're welcome to pause the video if you want to try this one on your own, but let's work through it together in case you need extra help. So I'm going to take the number in front, negative 9, and I'm going to multiply it by x. So I have negative 9 x's. Then I'm going to take negative 9 and multiply it by the term that comes next, which is positive 2. So negative times positive is positive. 9 times 2 is 18. And then I want to bring down that negative 1. Then I can combine my two constants, okay? So notice my negative 9x is the only box I have, so I'm just rewriting that over here. Negative 9x plus, and then I have 18 plus negative 1, which is going to give me 17. So negative 9x plus 17 is my final answer for this expression. Now, this one could be tricky. Make sure that you're including the negative with the 2. Okay, this term includes the sign in front when you multiply. Try this one on your own, and then start the video up when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, so after you distributed, you should have gotten 6d plus negative 12 plus 5. Or you could have written this as 6d minus 12 plus 5. Then we're going to combine the negative 12 and the 5, so we end up with 6d plus negative 7 as our final answer. And as a refresher from yesterday, on the quiz, even though this is the most acceptable answer, the most correct answer, I would also accept 6d minus 7 or negative 7 plus 6d. So any of those options would be considered correct on the quiz. Okay, try this one on your own. If you need more time, pause the video. Otherwise, let's check our answer. All right, now this one could have been tricky because we have two negatives. So negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. So make sure you have positive 21 there. When I combine the 21 and the 4, I get 25. So my final answer is negative 7x plus 25. All right, now this one looks a little bit more complicated than the previous examples, but really we can just split it into two separate sections and do exactly what we just did, okay? So for the first set of parentheses, I'm going to distribute the 5 to the p, and I'm going to get 5p. Then I'm going to do positive 5 times positive 4 to get 20. Then I'm going to look at the second set. So I'm going to take that positive 3 and multiply it by negative 2. So I'm going to get plus negative 6. Then positive 3 times negative p is going to give me negative 3p. So that's my first step. Then I need to combine all of the p's. So I have negative 3 over here and I have 5 over here. So 5 plus negative 3 is going to give me negative 2p. Then I'm going to combine my constants. So I have positive 20 and negative 6. So 20 plus negative 6 is going to give me positive 14. So this is my final answer. If you need more evidence to see where I got those numbers from, I've included it to the right of my answer, so you can see those are my two different subtotals, just like we saw in yesterday's examples. Okay, try this one on your own. Make sure that you watch out for any positives and negative signs and think about what the sign of your different parts of your answer should be. Start the video back up when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so after distributing the first set of parentheses, I got 3p plus 3, and then I added to that the results of the second set of parentheses, so I got negative 8 plus negative 2p. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to combine my p's, so I have 3 and negative 2, so 3p plus negative 2p is going to give me 1p. And remember that the simplest way of writing that is just the p by itself. Then I'm going to combine my 3 and my negative 8. So 3 plus negative 8 is going to give me negative 5. So I could write for my final answer 1p plus minus 5, or the simplest, most correct way would be p plus negative 5. That's it for our examples for today. Remember, you can watch the video as many times as you need to, pause when you need to, so that you can make sure you're understanding the content. Thanks for watching.